Hey everybody, this is Dan. On this video I'm going to teach you how to implement the Authorized.net recurring billing gateway using Datasprings Registration Module, Dynamic Registration Module. It's available in 4.2 and above. It comes out in April. This gateway is used to, if you want to set up some kind of subscription based membership to your site, this is the way to go. Authorized.net is a nice tool, and this gives you an easy way to implement. If you're familiar with implementing gateways using dynamic registration from Datasprings, this one is completely different because of the way they communicate with Authorized.net. So it is a little bit different, but it's just as simple. One of the first things you're going to want to make sure you do to help you troubleshoot some things is make sure you have debug log to your event viewer. If you go to your event viewer as host, and if you go to manage and edit log settings, see if you have debug info and make sure it's set to true. If it's not, you could edit it here. If you do not have debug info, you need to come all the way down to the bottom. See this add log setting? You're going to add it here, and you'll find it here, debug info, and then just add it, set logging enabled, and that will allow you to start seeing all the debug info that's sent from the code, from the Datasprings code. So it'll walk you through, and you can see where it's failing, and it'll return any errors back to you. So this last one, invalid authentication values. So it's really helpful as you're trying to troubleshoot that. And then I would recommend that you just open this up in another tab and view it often. So let's get down to business here. Okay, on this page I have everything that you need for a basic setup. If you're used to Datasprings, you know that you would typically come in here and go to payment gateway. You would say yes, authorized.net, and then you would come down here and you would fill out this whole thing. This one's much different than that. Let me show you what you need. On this one, you need a bunch of fields specifically named with descriptions that Datasprings will give you, or you can just take from this tutorial. The very first thing you need to know that it's using the ARB gateway is this field, payment gateway, P gateway, and you just fill it in with auth ARB right there. You need the auth username and login and transaction key from your account. You should know how to get those. If you're not, just look it up in the help files from authorized.net. To get the transaction key, you need to have a secret question type thing. So take those, set those as the default value. Now, of course, on these fields, you're going to want to set to have them hidden by authorized.net. I mean, by your Datasprings module. Have them hidden, but for the purpose of this demonstration, I've just go ahead and left them open so you can see. These are not my real login names and transaction keys. So you need to have your field, the short name of these fields, exactly how I have them here. So, and that's in the documentation. So the short name here is auth_ARB _ user login name. Okay, so you told it you're using this as a gateway. User login name, transaction key, it's pulled from here. It's not pulled from the module configuration, it's pulled from right here. Okay, you need the card number, so make sure your short name is auth_ARB _ card number. Okay, you need the bill to first name and last name, so name your short codes, name your short field names appropriately here. You need your subscription amount. That's the amount that you're going to charge them. You need the card expire date in month and year format. So on this, you could combine a month and a year picker, calendar picker, use some JavaScript to create this Okay. Subscription occurrences. The code that I have right now, you have to set this to 999 if you want it to never end. If you leave that blank, it's going to error out, so it needs that. I think Chad told me from Datasprings that they updated the code that if you leave this blank, it'll default it to 999, or if you don't include it at all, it'll go to 99. But for right now, you have to set it to that number for it to go everlasting. There's some other variables that are in the documentation that you can use, like the start date. If you want to do a trial, you could set the start date out a week. And I use that in the live site. I just use JavaScript to pull out a date 7 days from now. But that's basically it. You submit all this information. When you hit submit, it'll go out and create your subscription. You could add, there's quite a few more fields. There's email, address stuff that you could add here too, but this is the bare minimum that you need to get working. So I would advise you, before you tackle this and convert your existing or create a new registration, is try something very basic with just the bare minimum, and that's going to be P gateway, login name, transaction key, card number, card expire date, first name, last name, amount, and subscription occurrences, and that will allow you to create a recurring billing thing. Now, what do you do next? How do you cancel? You have to get there's a transaction ID that's created every time, and you could use that, and there's another couple of fields that you can fill out to cancel them, but I'll put that in another video down the road. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. You can get me at Twitter at Dan Himmel, DANHIML, and I'll try to answer any questions. I'm really good with this gateway now, and I'm also really good with the Payflow gateway if you guys need help with those two different subscription services. I'm liking this one a lot more because Authorized.net is a lot cheaper than Payflow Pro, and it seems so far to be just as powerful. And I run a lot of different paid communities, and it's going to save me thousands of dollars a month in fees by switching over to Authorized.net. Thanks a lot. I'll talk to you later.